Tyler Herro is by far one of the most interesting players in the NBA at this very moment. From his fearless finals run with the Heat to having his own song about him, Herro really has done a lot in his first 2 seasons of being an NBA player. But despite Herro balling out at the highest level in the NBA bubble, since then he has regressed to say the least. But why? Many believe that the NBA bubble gave an unorthodox environment that allowed young players with confidence to thrive. But if that was the case, why has Tyler Herro regressed so much compared to other players that balled out in the bubble? Well, at this point in time, it is very clear that Tyler Herro is embracing being a celebrity, and it very well might lead to his downfall. Today, we had to talk Miami Heat, and in particular, taking a deep dive into one of their young players, Tyler Herro, and why his play has declined so much in the past season, along with taking a look at the stats and reports that show the negative impacts this will have for the Miami Heat if this trend for Herro continues. But before we get into all of that, if you've been enjoying the videos lately, it would be absolutely clutch if you subscribed if you're new and join the Woods crew. We are trying to get past the 10,000 subscriber milestone before the next NBA season begins on October 19th. And about 95% of you guys watching aren't even subscribed. So if you just hit that sub button below, we could actually get to that goal very quickly. Not to mention, I would just really appreciate it. Back to Tyler Herro though, because like I said, less than a year ago, many believed he was one of the rising young stars in the league because of his bubble run. So what happened? Well, even though this video is on Herro, we can't overlook the fact that the Miami Heat in general took a nosedive last year. Between injuries and protocol, it just seemed like in the first half of the season, this team could not catch a break. And things were not looking good compared to their previous postseason run. Although guys like Jimmy Butler were on cold streaks on the offensive end of the ball, what was really concerning to people was their young stud Tyler Herro, because to say he declined the following season was an understatement, and the stats don't lie. Herro basically played the same amount of games this season as he did in his rookie year, and he got almost 5 more minutes of playing time, yet his stats either stayed the same or declined. Herro was able to average slightly more points, but his 3-point shooting became very streaky, which led to a decline in his shooting splits, and he had a significant amount of turnovers as well. Now I'm gonna cut Herro a break here because it was just his sophomore season, but compared to his stats in the playoffs last year, he was a completely different player. Usually when guys like Herro are given a bigger role with more minutes, they're able to step up and increase their numbers. But like I said, despite more playing time, Herro's numbers declined a bit. But why? Well, although there are many factors to this, today we just had to discuss Tyler Herro's lifestyle, how it's getting in the way of his game, and what he needs to change if he wants to become an impact player for this team and make the Heat contenders once again. After Herro's amazing run in the playoffs, it's safe to say that his clout was at an all-time high. Between his great play and iconic moments like the snarl, NBA fans and Miami Heat fans in particular could not get enough of this guy. Because of this, Herro was able to gain a tremendous amount of traction on social media and grew his following to nearly 2.5 million followers. Not to mention, he had a song released from Jack Harlow about him and dated an Instagram model who he's now having a child with. Because of all the attention Herro was getting, it's safe to say that he took advantage of his new fame and started securing brand deals to make some extra money on the side. Now, don't get me wrong here, I don't think there's anything wrong with endorsements, because after all, that's what makes players and even YouTubers like myself big money. But Herro took this whole thing to another level, which is where things get concerning to me. Normally for endorsements, players typically get paid a big bag from their shoe deal and maybe 1 or 2 other things on the side. Typically, these endorsements are somewhat hands-off to start out with. All you have to do is wear the shoes, rep the gear, and not spend a lot of time on the project. With Herro though, things are different, because I don't know about you, but to me it seems like he is taking on an immense number of projects and brand deals that are rather hands-on for a young player, especially because he should be putting almost all of his time and effort into the game of basketball. Things like his own cereal brand, a Chipotle bowl, music, and more, the list of things that Herro is involved with goes on and on. And even though he likely has a manager, you can't deny that all of these things take at least some of the time out of his day to endorse. Which is where I believe the problems began. After Herro gained a large following, it seemed as though he was putting almost as much time into his brand deals, creating his image, and the overall celebrity lifestyle as he was into the game of basketball, which truthfully should be his only priority at this point in his career. We usually don't see young players taking on all these projects like Herro because they want to solidify themselves as one of the best players in the NBA first. And for this reason, I am very concerned about Tyler Herro and his mindset. And the Miami Heat reportedly are as well. According to multiple reports, throughout the season, the Miami Heat are, quote, concerned about how Tyler Herro is handling himself off the court. And to me, this definitely makes sense. Like I said, when a player that truly wants to be great makes it into the league, they tune out almost any distractions they have and put almost all of their time and energy into the game. And then, once they've made it to the highest level, they take on other projects because they've achieved what they wanted to do, become a star. For Herro though, it's almost the opposite, because he's putting his time and mind into all these other aspects of life, which has led many, including myself, to believe that he's choosing celebrity life over basketball, and that he's content with how good he is at the game right now. I think that this quote by Heat writer Ethan Skolnick says it best. Quote, Tyler Herro chose to become a celebrity. He chose to become something outside of the game, as is his right. With his breakfast cereal and his Tyler Tuesdays and his Chipotle bowl, and that's all pretty good. But you know what? Other players, when they see a player doing that before they've truly reached it, I don't know if I want to say that's jealousy, but there's some sort of scant view on this guy, and they say, wait a minute buddy, you haven't done anything yet. Tyler Herro got a lot of recognition from his play in the bubble, so it does make sense that he took advantage on some deals. But if Herro has the mindset of being content with where he's at as a player right now because he has all his brand deals and such, all I have to say is the Miami Heat should be concerned to say the least. And they might have made a big mistake after not taking action when they realized that this was the case. Now, I'm not going to say that any of this is the Heat's fault, but at this very moment, you just can't help but feel they missed out on some great trades when Tyler Herro's value was at a potential career high. I mean, the man just came off a finals run as a rookie and was a contributing piece. And if the Miami Heat would have included him in a James Harden trade, they could have quite possibly gotten a deal done if they got a third team involved to get picks to the Rockets. Enough of what happened in the past though, because we just had to talk about what Tyler Herro needs to do in order to turn his career around, and how it will impact the Miami Heat if he chooses the celebrity lifestyle instead. When playing at the NBA level, many have said that in order to become the best of the best, you have to have tunnel vision. What I mean by that is when you enter the league and you're young, all you should be doing is focusing on your basketball skills and getting better. No Tyler Herro cereal, no music production, none of that. Just getting better at basketball without distractions and pushing yourself every single day. If Herro wants to improve, he needs to put all of his focus in the game, or else his ceiling is a solid starter or sixth man, and nothing more than that. The true greats like Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron, they have all put in the work to get where they are today. In fact, players like Steph Curry trained non-stop even before their NBA career began, which is what it takes to become great. Steph Curry once talked about how one summer he needed to change his jump shot form, and his family literally called it the summer of tears because he was not allowed to play actual basketball games until he fixed his jump shot. And those are the types of things it takes to become a great player in the NBA. But all of that aside, yes, I believe that Tyler Herro does have the potential to become a great NBA player. Because guess what? When Herro was in the bubble, all the players could focus on was basketball. Players in the bubble literally said that it was eat, sleep, practice, and play, and that their lives were literally basketball in this environment. This unique situation allowed Herro to focus on his game, and in just a short amount of time, he showed flashes of what he could be if he just focused on his craft like he did in the bubble. When he was forced to put his celebrity lifestyle and distractions aside, Herro only thought about basketball, which led to him absolutely balling out. And this is exactly what he needs to do now if he wants to improve. But as much as I and all the other Herro fans want him to take a leap in the next year or two, there is a good chance that he leans into the celebrity lifestyle more and more and has little to no improvement on the basketball side of things. So how will this impact the Miami Heat if this is the case? Well, despite making moves for guys like Kyle Lowry and PJ Tucker this offseason, it is very apparent that the Miami Heat's young core will need to take a leap if this team wants any chance of contention. Don't get me wrong here, not all of this falls on Tyler Herro, but there is a very good chance that a lot of it will. Think about it this way, out of Bam Adebayo, Tyler Herro, and Duncan Robinson, Herro is the one that has the potential for the biggest impact in my eyes. I mean, Duncan can't really shoot much better than he already has, and the only way that he becomes better is his defense, but that will take a long time to develop. Bam is already great, and although he could take another leap, is already the first or second option for this team consistently. What it comes down to is Tyler Herro, because sure, Bam, Jimmy, and Lowry could do some damage for the Heat next year, but if Herro steps up and plays like a legit number 2 or 3 option, this Heat's team chances of making the finals become way higher, which is why I believe it's so important that Herro locks in for the greater good of this team. In the case that Herro fails to develop into what we saw in the bubble, I just can't see a world in which the Miami Heat are able to get past teams like the Nets, Bucks, or maybe even the 76ers to get into the finals assuming that all teams are healthy, which means that despite the immense amount of potential that this team has, they could very well be stuck as someone who aren't championship favorites, but also aren't bad enough to get good picks. To say the least, it will be very interesting to see how the Tyler Herro situation plays out, because at this point in time, I just can't help but feel that Herro's celebrity lifestyle is getting in the way of his play, and if he just focuses on basketball, he could earn a contract that would make way more than his little brand deals. Regardless of Herro, the Miami Heat will be pushing to contend this year, so if you want me to make a video on players I think they should target in trades to improve their roster, please let me know by leaving a like and comment below. And if this video gets a good amount of likes, I'll do it. Other than that, thank you all so much for watching, I'll catch you on the next one, Woods out.